Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now we're going to talk about the planetary energies that Torah, aka Gaia, wants you to represent as being a physical vessel in this third chakra wheel we call this being mankind. You feel me? Now check this out, because there's a lot of energy right now. It's a lot of combustion. It's like a it's almost like a stellium, because there's like 3 or more planets in one sign. So there's a stellium in Aries. You see what I'm saying? Now, what happens here is, first of all, let's speak about the new moon, because there's a new moon now also, because the sun is in Aries and the moon have just went across in Aries and across the same degree. So the moon right now is in 19 degrees Aries. The sun is in 8 degrees Aries. So off the bat, we have a new moon. So with the new moon right here, all new moons represent is we know the moon represents the emotions, the feelings. So when we have a new moon, this slap emotion and feelings and slap new in front of it. Anytime there's a new moon, you're going to have a new emotional response, a new feeling about a circumstance that you are in, previously be in, or a situation you need to take care of. So it just, you have a different emotional stance on it that start to creep in from how you emotionally felt about it before it was a new moon. So that's what happens when there's an actual new moon. There's a new emotional stance, a new emotional and a new feeling or expression around the situation. Now, regardless if you're a person who got a bad spirit or a bad soul or good spirit or good soul, that's what's going to represent the actual new emotion. And if you're a person who don't know thyself, any being could come in and use you as a vessel and utilize you for whatever energy that you carry in order to carry out the duties and obligations of the new feeling and emotion that you're going to choose to express being in this physical spaceship we call a human body. Now, that's a new moon. So now we're going to talk about the sun. The sun is in Aries. Now the sun is exalted in Aries. So right now the sun represents what you can see. It represents energy. It represents the light. So we know light is correlated with information. So right now the information and what you should be enlightened about right now is things due to the Aries zodiac type. Now, it doesn't matter what zodiac sign you are, your actions should be predicated towards giving attention or energy to where the light is focusing. And the light, which is the headship of this mankind being, is right now traveling through, is the sun itself is right now, from our perspective, being the third rock from the sun, is in Aries. So it's going to represent these supposed to represent your actions. So whether your sun sign is a square, sextile, trine, opposition to this, or in conjunction or whatever, to this actual sign, then that's going to be the struggle you have in order to give this energy that's going on right now. So this is what your actions should be predicated towards. Now, what is Aries? Aries is cardinal, and it's cardinal fire. Fire represents the seer, so it sees, and it represents the feelings, so it feels. Now, cardinal, so this is what separates Aries from the other 2 fire signs, is cardinal. Cardinal represents initiating and creating new. So that means either ushering in something or creating something that out of something that already been previously there. So what happens here is your actions and the way you act, regardless of your sun sign, should be acting predicated towards initiating and creating new ways of how to see and how to feel about things. So if you've been in like an emotional rut, or if you have a lot of water in your planetary alignments, or if you are a water sign and you've been holding on to grudges, them grudges is going to hurt 10 times worse right now if you don't get into the mode of extracting your energies towards initiating, creating new ways of how to see and feel about these situations. Don't create new ways of how to see and feel negatively about these situations. Create new ways of how to see and feel in the positive light. That means not holding grudges. Now, Aries can hold grudges but for the most part, it doesn't let the grudge affect its own life or its own personal thing going. Like I said, it's Mars external. Scorpio is Mars internal. So you know what I'm saying? So Mars introvert will be Scorpio, Mars extrovert will be Aries. So instead of holding something in, Aries will choose to express it on the outside. So what happens here when it comes to grudges, a lot of times Aries will have to do that in order to get it off their chest, because if they hold it in, it's going to eat them up alive. So what happens here is when I don't want to say everything is going towards a negative path, but as far as your actions, and if you are a square to this sun sign, whether you are like a Libra, that's an opposition, but whether you are a Cancer or a Capricorn, you're going to become a square. A sextile, that's like an Aquarius or a Gemini, you're going to become a sextile. A trine, that's like a Leo or a Sagittarius. That's going to become, regardless of the relationship you have with your sun sign to the actual energy that Gaia wants you to pursue right now. Gaia wants you to initiate and create new ways of seeing things and feeling about ways. And I just gave you an example of how water make a hold grudges, but in this time right now, if your actions is predicated towards doing manipulative things, predicated on that grudge, is gonna make you fall short. You're not gonna get the upper hand, because now is not that time to do that. Now is the time to see something in a new way and create a new and have a new feeling about that situation that you've been seeing. Because the sun is the light. It's what you see. You see what I'm saying? So that's what Gaia is here for you. Is here in the energy that Gaia is going through, and that's the energy she wants you to exude. And the better you know how to apply yourself, and some may have it harder than others. Like, it don't matter where the sun is at, there's always people who going to have a sun sign squaring or whatever. Like, so their actions may be a little bit harder to get with the energy than another person who may be a sextile or a trine to their sun sign, to the sun sign that's actually going in. But right now the sun was in Pisces, is in Aries right now. So now you know what your sun sign is capable of. So you know if you're a Cancer, you're going to square Aries. You know if you're a Capricorn, you're going to square. So you know if you stay stuck on a certain emotional stance because somehow somebody made you feel as a Cancer, you know that's not going to work in your favor right now. If you're a Capricorn and you get a little too stubborn and a little too fixated in one way of how to see things, and you only can initiate and create your own way of how to think and come up with the common sense on something, nah, that's not going to work right now. People want you to be more spontaneous right now, a little bit more free, a little bit more insightful, enlightened, add a little bit more faith, a little bit more creativity to your practicality. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it really wants you to do. And those is examples, and it's not worse or bad for anybody. I can get to the bad parts of how it's going to be for a sextile and trines, and it's good in all of those also. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the basic energy of the actions Gaia wants to take you through right now. Now, the moon is also in Aries. So the moon is Gaia's emotional response to things right now. The emotional stance that Gaia is in right now. How Gaia wants you to emotionally express yourself right now. And right now, it wants you to think more about yourself right now. Don't get too caught up or consumed into other people's ways of seeing and feeling about things, or other people's ways of communicating or thinking, or other people's ways of practicalizing things, or other people's ways of going about things due to their emotions. It don't want you to do none of that right now. It wants you to initiate and create new ways of how to feel and see your emotions, because the moon is the emotions, your emotional awareness, who you are, your emotional stance. Now, the emotional stance that you're supposed to partake right now is in the Aries nature. Initiate and create a new way about how to see and how to feel about the emotional things and the close people in your surroundings right now, and see how it benefits you, or not just benefit, or how it's in sake for you, and seeing that you're not giving too much of your energy for the sake of someone else's. That's very key. Because the key right now is you could become in a very vulnerable situation in your life when you're not taking care of your own emotional stance, or you're reaching out for too much advice, or you're reaching out for too much when you're giving too much of yourself to others. Right now, this time is going to make you feel very vulnerable when you do that. So it's almost going to be to a certain degree that you're going to be very nitpicky about things you even want people to know, things that's not even worth being a secret or something like that. Just the littlest things right now going to make you feel vulnerable. People, it's going to be certain situations where you may be in a relationship and you may not even want anyone to know who you actually talk to. You may want everyone to know that you're in a relationship, but you may not want nobody to know who you actually talk to, because you think that person may carry a lot of baggage that may be attached to you. So it's going to make you feel emotionally vulnerable. So that's things like that can happen right now. Guilty by association with groupings or people can be very heightened right now. And right now it's just the emotions and the way you feel, your emotions, and the world you live in right now is supposed to be secluded to get emotionally control of yourself first, to the point that you can feel comfortable with expressing yourself. That's the key. That's the key. Being in an environment or being in certain circumstances or around certain people that enables you to feel freely with expressing your emotional awareness. And anytime you feel like you're in an environment or around people where you're not able to fully express your emotional awareness about a circumstance, or you feel like you have to hold back some emotional expression or something like that, could be very, very uncomfortable right now for everyone. And it may be a little harder for squares and oppositions with the moons compared to if your moon is in Cancer or something like that, or if your moon in Capricorn, or if your moon in Libra. You may be able to understand it but do it in your own way if you're a sextile to the moon right now. You may be able to understand what's going on right now if your moon is a trine or a conjunction to the moon right now, or in the same sign. And you know, in conjunction, you may misunderstand the emotions and the feelings that's going on right now. But for the most part, I'm here letting you know, regardless of your angle to the moon right now, with your moon, your emotions and the feelings, it's your duty to try to align yourself with the actual energy that Gaia is going through right now. And right now, the moon is in Aries. So if the moon represents the emotions and the feelings and the emotional surroundings around things, then Aries represents initiating and creating new ways of how to feel and the emotions. Then that's what I mean, how to feel and how to see things. Then that's what you actually need to be doing with your emotions right now, regardless of who just made you super pissed off, or regardless who just made you super happy. You know what I'm saying? You still have to initiate and create a new way and a new emotional response around that surrounding, even if you have to become manipulative at times, just for the sake of not being vulnerable, letting the person know how you truly feel about the circumstance, due to the fact that if you let them know how you truly feel about a circumstance, they could burn a bridge. See, that's what you don't want to do. That's the negative path to go through. Right now, you want to actually not be vulnerable, not let a person know all your outsets, because see, the moon works a little different in Aries than the sun do. See, the sun is more expressive, what people can see as far as the actions. The moon is what's inside, how you feel, your emotional response, what caused the actions. So what happens here is, right here, with the moon being in Aries also, it's important for you not to put yourself out there in any vulnerable type situation to the point that you have to come to a conclusion that you have to burn a bridge. Unwarranted. Now, the moon, Mercury. Now, Mercury, Gaia is in Aries also. So Gaia, aka Torah, actually wants you to think, communicate, and analyze in an Aries fashion too. Initiating and creating new way. Now, you don't have to get into too many debates. You don't have to get too argumentative. I know we're hearing a lot of musicians with diss records right now. I know we're hearing a lot of combative energy right now. I know 2017 been empowered by Mars. You know, we know a lot of things going on right now, but for the sake of what's going on right now, it's very intense and things could go overboard, because see, Mercury is thinking, communicating, and analyzing. So a lot of people is thinking, communicating, and analyzing real fast. But for the sake of how to do it right, what Gaia wants you to do is initiate and create new ways of how to think and analyze and communicate about the circumstances that you're emotionally in and the circumstances that you see yourself going as far as your ego, like the sun and the moon. You know what I'm saying? Mercury is actually relating right now. Now, Mercury also wants you to keep elaborating on the self. Make sure you initiating, make sure you are thinking and analyzing on your own style, your own way of communicating, your own way of analyzing things, and making sure you're bringing something to the table and not taking something from the table. And what I mean by that, I mean having something to offer, not coming into a situation with the take, because that could become the opposition. And the opposition, the argumentative, that's like the take. Applying ideas and relating to others, that's like the bring to the table. So that's the good side of Aries. But a lot of times it can go on to take, because Mars itself is it takes wherever house is in, it takes. You know what I'm saying? Venus gives. You know what I'm saying? Now, so what happens here? With Mercury itself being in Aries, a lot of times it is going to take communication from others. So you may be too fixated on having your own way of trying to think and communicate about, like initiating, creating new ways of how to think and communicate about something, to the point that when someone else does the same thing, it comes into a opposition or a debate type of thing, because it's a take. One person want to take the energy of what they're talking about and want to be looked at as right, or the person who perceived as one. So, you know, keep that in mind. But right now, everybody is going to be enlightened, having their own point of view, and trying to initiate new ways of how to think and communicate and analyze amongst whatever situation that they're in. So that's actually what's going on right now, and what Gaia wants you to do. But what's going to make it seem like it's turmoil is when people don't actually do it the right way, and people are still doing it in their actual way. Now, like I said, if you have a Mercury already in Aries, then your way of thinking and communicating and analyzing right now is actually acceptable to the energy that's going on right now. Now, whether it's a sextile, trine, opposition, or square, this is going to cause when a person don't even know how to handle their own squares and they don't know thyself, they're going to fall into a lot of or oppositions or trines or sextile. They're going to fall into a lot of situations that the energy going to receive to be negative. You know what I'm saying? But if a person knows thyself and they know that's what's actually going on right now, then they could know what kind of energy was going on right now. And it's heightened energy, heightened communication, heightened enlightenment, heightened thinking, heightened analyzing, and thinking real rapidly and fast. Might be a little selfish, but to a certain degree, it's trying to learn the best way possible. Now, when we got Venus is in Aries also, and it's in retrograde. Anytime a planet go into retrograde, that means it's looking towards past tense. So Gaia itself, the Earth itself, and the energy that you're absorbed in itself is looking towards past ways or past energies of love, appreciation, value, and love, and how to relate to others. So right now is making everyone look at past relationships, making everyone look at past appreciations, past pleasures, past things that they're related to, or whatever like that. And by it being in Aries right now, Venus hates being here, so it's forcing you to initiate and create a new way of how to see and feel about love, appreciation, value, and how you relate to others, and compromising and being relatable and your pleasures and things of that nature. It wants you to create a new way of how to see these things and how to feel. But not only is taking your pleasures that you pleasure with now, or whatever relationship you're in now, it's forcing you to initiate and create a new way of how to see and how to feel about past relationships, past you know what I'm saying, related type situations, or how you relate to things and how you appreciate things and how you value things. It's making you look towards and make you force. So you may have been, like past relationships may have come up in your head right now, past situations, and when I say relationships, it could be amongst people, places, or things. It could be amongst mate, business, or siblings, you know what I'm saying, or family. So whatever the circumstances is making you look at the past circumstances and things that you appreciated in the past, and it's forcing you to initiate a new way of how to see and how to feel about things. And Venus likes to hold on to things because Venus is a filler planet, so it holds on to feelings. And the planet and the planet of pleasures is a feeling. Love is a feeling. Compassion is a feeling. You know what I'm saying? So what happens here is when it's in Aries, it gets a little selfish at times. So you could kind of feel that you may want your own expression of love, appreciation, and value, how you relate to others. You may want it in your own fashion, but depending on if your Venus is a square, opposition, sextile, trine to this, then that's going to let you know how to go about it. Because if you don't know thyself, then you're going to put yourself in situations that's not aligned with yourself. So that's the purpose of this video. So by Venus being in Aries, like I said, Venus hates to be in Aries. So when Venus wants to love, appreciate, value, relate to others, compromise, it's in a sign that's too busy trying to initiate and create new ways of how to see and feel about things. So put this in an example. If you're too busy trying to initiate and create a new way of how to feel or see a certain circumstance, then you're not going to have time to be able to relate to someone else's way of seeing and feeling about it, or be able to compromise with someone else because you're too busy coming up with your own way. So you know what I'm saying? Now that you know that, this is how you can cool the energy off a little bit. Still be highly relatable. Still add your ideas with others, and that'll cool Venus off a little bit because Venus hates to be here. And anytime anybody get into a debate is gonna or argument situation, or a situation where they're opposing each other, it can go further than it really needs to because Venus already hates to be here. So right here, Venus is gonna back down. You know, Venus is gonna back down. So you know, for the most part, you got to be in a situation where You know, when you put yourself in a situation where it's love and appreciation, value, don't be expecting to receive that back. Because if you're dealing with others who don't know thyself, then the way that they're going to look at it is in a very selfish way. And then the way that they look at love and appreciation and relating to others is going to be in their way and wherever their Venus is at. So if it's already square in or opposition where Venus is naturally at right now, it's going to be a high distaste to the energy that that you carry, rather wherever your Venus is at. Because the actual energy of Venus where it's at right now is in Aries, where everyone should be initiating and creating new ways of how to look at their appreciations, things that they value, their loved ones, their feelings and things of that nature. But to do it in a positive way is to keep yourself and have your own initiating thought of how you should see it, but actually allow someone else to have theirs, and not come into a way of situation where you think their way is wrong or their way oppose your way in some type of way. And that's the only way you can kind of ease the energies of Venus that's going on right now. Now what's gonna mix things up a little bit is Jupiter being in Libra. Because check this out, with Jupiter being in Libra, what happens here is this is opposite to 4 planets. So Jupiter, wisdom, knowledge, experiences. Right now, Jupiter brings experiences in your life. So without experience, you're not going to have wisdom or knowledge on nothing. You're not going to be able to learn nothing without experience. So this is why Jupiter brings experiences. It's how one teach and be taught. So what happens here is when Jupiter is in the opposite sign, it's in Libra. Now it's also in retrograde, so it's looking towards past ways of past experiences in your life, past things that you learned from, past things that you gained wisdom from, gained some type of knowledge from. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look towards like past things that you have learned and apply it to now, so you don't have to do the same mistake twice. Now with it being in Libra in general, Libra is cardinal air, so that's initiating and creating new ways of how to think and communicate. So right here, this is for sake of conversation. So by it being opposite, your actions will, for the sake of Gaia and the way energy the energy is pursuing on the energy, by the way the energy is flowing through you guys as men and women. Now for Jupiter, it's going to bring opposition. So as far as your actions, your reactions, Sun and Moon, your communication style and how you analyze and think about things, your Mercury, and the way you feel about things and your appreciation or how you value things and how you relate to things, which is your Venus, right now is going to be opposed to the experiences that you go through. So the experiences that you're going to go through right now is at odds with your actions, reactions, communication, and how you appreciate things. So right now you're going to be thrown off, and a lot of times you can be putting yourself into these situations based upon what I was just explaining by these planets being in Aries in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too busy Gaia wants you to initiate and create new ways of how to see and how to feel about things when it comes to your actions, your reactions, your thinking and communicating, and the way you value things and appreciate and relate to others. But the way it's teaching you is through Jupiter, and it's through opposition, it's through communication, and through thinking and initiating new ways. So right here, this is going to be initiating new ways and new experiences in your life of new miscommunications, new misinformation. You know what I'm saying? New thinking of things not the right way. You know what I'm saying? And the way you receive, this is the way you're going to be receiving wisdom and knowledge right now. So this is going to be the way you experience your experiences right now. You're going to feel opposed no matter what sign you are. You're going to feel opposed to any time someone try to teach you something, or anytime you're going through an experience you don't want to go through, or anytime you're placed in a situation where you have to learn or gain wisdom from. You're going to feel opposed from that information. You're going to feel opposed from that knowledge. You're going to fight against it because it's not relatable to your actions and what you're actually doing, and what you see yourself doing from day to day, which is your sun, is not compatible with your reactions and how you emotionally react to things, to what's going on in your surroundings and how you react to people. Is not on par with your the way you think and the way you communicate in the first place, and it's not on par to how you look at love and appreciation and relating to people right now. So off the bat, these are the things, the experiences that's in your life right now is completely opposite to that. So it's making you learn these things, and off the bat, what Jupiter is doing is putting you in a situation where you off the bat have to initiate and create a new way of how to see and feel about these things.